Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Franklin from the Money Code Academy, and I'm glad you're watching. Now, if today is your first time of joining us here, I would like to encourage you to subscribe to this channel and smash the bell button so that when I post a new video, you'll be the first to receive it. On this channel, what I speak about is personal finance, financial freedom, and entrepreneurship. Now, if you're interested, then don't hesitate to subscribe to this particular channel. Now, on today's video, I want to share with you 8 money habits that can keep you broke and how to change it. Now, a lot of time, many people don't think they don't know that the reason they are broke, it has more to do with their financial behaviors. It has more to do with their financial character, habits, and attitudes than what they know as being broke, which is the lack of money. Now, this might sound ridiculous, but that's just the truth. You've got to understand this. Being broke, hear me, is not what people think. You've got to understand this. It's not what people think. There is so much to this than meet the eyes. Being broke, that is the absence of money, is the fruit, but the root is the habits, the attitude that you have towards finances. So on the basis of that, I wanted to share few thoughts with you that I've written down that I believe will go a long way to help you. The first point that I wrote down here is having more liabilities than assets. Now, I've said this again and again in my previous videos. Your liabilities are those things that takes money from you, your financial obligations that takes money from you. They just keep taking money from you, but they don't increase or multiply your finances. While the assets are those things that brings money for you, things like your business, things like your job. Those are the things that brings money into your life. But a situation where your financial obligations are more than the income coming into your life, you will always be broke. So in a bid to fix that, you need to identify your financial obligations, identify your liabilities. You'll be shocked that there are lots of things that you may be spending money on right now, which you are not supposed to be spending money on. I mean, there are certain things that you could cut off, you could limit, okay, from your monthly financial obligations. This is something that will go a very long way to help you. Years ago, I fell for this particular trap. It was horrible, trust me. I just kept on spending money. I mean, at the end of every month, I will have lots and lots of financial obligations. I mean, they were genuine. There was nothing wrong. It wasn't as though maybe I was just spending anyhow. Okay, these were genuine financial obligations that I didn't think that it was something that I needed to work on until it was time for me to file income tax, personal income tax, and my CA spoke about it, and she told me that my liabilities was so much, and when I took her time to check it, I realized that I needed to cut down on certain things. So that helped me to identify them, and then I started to limit those things, and guess what? It went a long way to help me. You get that now? So that's something you need to work on. Identify your current liability. What are those things that you are spending money on right now that you shouldn't be spending money on? What are those financial obligations that is taking so much money from you? Is it something that you could do without? Is it something that you could maybe put forward in the next, maybe for the next month, or for 3 months later, or for 6 months later? Think about it. These things can go a long way to choke your finances if they continue to be there. Liabilities is something that can choke you financially. You will find yourself, you'll be earning every month, money will pass through your hands like this, but it does not stay. It passes through your hand to other people. You get the point now. So that's something that you need to work on. Work on your liabilities if it is more than your asset, and if possible, work on increasing your asset, because this will go a long way to help you in making sure that you don't get broke. You get the point now. Now, the next habit that I wrote down here is earning without savings. I did a video recently where I spoke about the mistakes people make with savings. I will just put a link below so that you just go through it and get value from there. When you are earning without savings, you will always find yourself broke. And one of the things that causes people to earn without saving is too many financial obligations, liabilities. When they are so much, At the end of the month, you find that you spend so much money without keeping any with you. So this is something that you need to work on. You need to take out time to work on it. And there are ways in which you do this. First, you need to start with 5%. That is if you are earning. But if you are not earning at all, then you need to work on establishing a channel of income. This is so important, because until and unless you earn, you can't save. You cannot even talk about savings. You get the point now. So I want to encourage you in that direction. Make a conscious decision that you are going to start saving. Start with 5%, and then when you get comfortable with that, then move to 10%, like that. A lot of time, most people, they just believe that they feel that they want to save, so they just start with saving 50%. No, it doesn't work that way. If you do something like that, it will choke you, it will cripple you financially. So that's something that you need to avoid. You get the point now. You need to avoid that. Save that money, but while you are doing that, start from something that you are convenient with. Then little by little, you start stepping it up. If you are not earning at all, then you should work on establishing that channel of income. If you are earning well and still not saving, then you need to look into your liabilities. You need to look into those things, because it will go a long way to help you. Now, the third point that I wrote down here is not keeping track of your expenses. This is something that is terrible. I fell for this particular trap years ago. I was spending, but I wasn't keeping track of my expenses. Again, it was when I wanted to file for income tax that my CA pointed it out, and she needed to get a balance sheet, and all that. But guess what? I could not provide one, because I was spending like that, but I was not keeping track. It is important for you to know that every major expenses that you do in your life should be written down. This will help you to identify some things that you may be spending money on right now that are not necessary. You get the point now. So that is something that keeping records of your expenses does for you. It helps you to put a check on your expenses. Is that okay? So that's something that you need to work on. Now, the next point that I wrote down here is impulsive spending or impulsive buying. This is when you go to the market, or you are just passing by a mall, or you're just passing by this shop, and you saw a beautiful shirt, and you're like, wow, I would love to get this shirt. Now, maybe the money you kept in your pocket was something that could last you for maybe 2 or 3 days, but because you have that habit of spending impulsively, just take that money and just fix it and deal with the consequence later. But guess what? The consequence later is that you will not have money in your pocket. You will always be broke. So as long as that habit is there, you can't be rich. You cannot save money. You cannot do well financially, because there is this thing in you that always wants you to spend when money is in your pocket. It shouldn't be that way. Be in control at all times. Does that mean that you shouldn't buy certain things that you think they are nice? Of course, impulsive spending is allowed sometimes. I too am guilty of that, okay? But the thing is, you need to apply control to a great extent. And that is where discipline comes into play. Because see, if you truly want to step out of this, you need to be able to discipline yourself and take your eyes off certain things. If you love that cloth so much, or if you love that shoe so much, or if you love that mobile phone so much, the best thing you should do is to save towards it. Save towards it. I know you might say, oh, but what if after saving towards it and I don't find that thing in the market any longer? Well, then move on with your life. That's not the only reason for existence. I don't mean to be harsh here, but that's just a point that I'm trying to communicate to you, that I believe will go a very long way to help you in your financial work. So make sure you get that done. It will go a long way to help you. And the next habit that I wrote down here is chasing the dollar bill instead of crafting your value. A lot of times, one of the reasons people are always broke is because they have this attitude of pursuing money. They say, I need this money, so they are willing to go any extent just to get this money. Many are willing to condescend to doing some menial jobs, some very low jobs, just to get money. Now, I want you to pay close attention here. I am not against some of these blue collar jobs, okay? I'm not against menial jobs. I mean, if you're starting out and you just need money to be able to fix certain things in your life, it is not a bad idea at all going for those menial jobs that can immediately put money in your hands. There is nothing wrong with that. But my point is that if you are going to do that for a great part of your life, chances are there that you will always be broke. See, menial jobs or these blue collar jobs are not jobs that you do for a long term. These are jobs that you do for short term. Are you getting the point now? These are short term solutions. And that short term solutions, don't forget, it comes with a cost. Number one, it will burn your time. Number two, you will get money, but not enough. You will always realize that it is not enough because those menial jobs, they don't pay well. Now, if you want to get something that pays well, what do you have to do? Spend that time that you would have used in doing a menial job, spend that time to craft a value, something that people in the labor market will not be able to do without. When you do that, hear me, you will always find yourself in money. Because money was not meant to be pursued, money was meant to be attracted. Now, I have addressed this particular thing in one of the videos I did recently, 15 Rules of Money. I will link it down in the description box so that you will go listen to it, because on that particular video I took our time to explain this particular thing. Money was not is a law, is a rule in the financial world. Money was not meant to be pursued. If you find yourself pursuing money, you will always pursue it and not get it. But if you truly want to get money, relax. Come up with an idea. Come up with a value. Come up with a service or a product. Something that people cannot deny. Look at it. Everyone today, we are all hooked up on Facebook. That was a man's idea. That was something that, it didn't exist many years ago. Are you saying it now? There was no such thing as Facebook years ago. Man didn't think that they could come to that point where they will have to depend on something like this. But today, everyone is on Facebook. Millions and millions of people from all around the world. Why? Because a man sat down and brought out this thing from his mind. You too can do the same thing if you will sit down to craft your value. Trust me, all the money you are looking for is right on your inside if you will make a conscious decision to craft your value. So that's something that I think that you need to work on. It will go a long way to help you. Stop chasing the dollar bill and start crafting your value so that you can attract people. When you have value to give to the world, hear me, people will come looking for you. You become a money magnet. You get the point now? So that's in that particular point. Now, the next point that I wrote down here, the next habit that can keep you broke, is spending on things that does not multiply your income. This is a little like the first point on liabilities. Okay, as long as the things you are spending money on, as long as they are not increasing your money, you will always be broke. So that's something that you need to work on. Make a conscious decision that you will limit your spendings in areas that does not multiply your income. You get the point now. The next habit that I wrote down here is total dependency on credit card. As long as you are totally dependent on credit card, hear me, you will spend without caution, and you will spend even before you earn. And guess what? When you are done spending, whatever income that comes to you, you will find yourself channeling those income into your credit card payments. And where does that leave you? It leaves you broke. So if there is one thing that you need to work on in your life, be independent of credit cards. You see that now? Be independent of credit cards. See, some people don't know this. Credit cards can put you in such a deep financial mess that you will find yourself running around circles. It's a hard truth. Now, does this mean that credit card does not have its own advantages? Of course it does. But the challenge is that credit cards, they can be addictive. And once you enter into that place of addiction, you are finished. And guess what? Those are the things that the banks want. They want you to be dependent on the card. They want you to spend from the card. They want you to use the card. That's why they bring out these shiny objects with the card. Things like they tell you that if you use the card, you will get miles, you will get cash backs. All those things that they are bringing to you, they brought those things out so that you'll be able to spend. But guess what? When you are done spending, you will end up using all your income, at least to a great extent, using those income to pay up the payment for your cards. So that's something that you need to work on. Work on it. Don't be totally dependent on credit card. You can have it. I'm not against you having credit cards, but apply some self-control to it. Don't be dependent on it. Rather, be independent of it. I'm going to be doing a video on what I titled 5 attitudes you need to possess if you must use a credit card. I too have fallen victim for this credit card thing in the previous past, and it taught me a great lesson. You get the point now. Will I like to still have a credit card? Of course, yes. You get the point now. I have one currently, but the thing is, I have made up my mind to limit usage of that particular card. You get the point now. Now, finally, on this particular video, the next point that I wrote down here is eating out. This is one habit that can go a long way rather to put a hole in your pocket. Many people don't know this. They feel it's a way of relaxation. They feel it's a way of, just getting out of the whole routine of eating in the house again and again. And I get the point. I get the point. Sometimes it's good for us to just pamper ourselves, take ourselves out, But if this becomes a habit where you are eating out on a regular basis, trust me, you will not be able to gather money, or you will not be able to come out of being broke. You will always be broke. Because in the first place, eating out is always expensive. No matter how cheap they make it look like, it can never be as cheap as you cooking in the house. A lot of times when you cook in the house, the food that you've prepared in your house, it can go a very long way to take you for the next 2 or 3 days. So eating out is something that, if that is something that you are doing, you need to work on it, because that can go a long way to keep you perpetually poor. So that will be all for this video, guys. I believe that you've gotten value from this. Now, if you have done that, I would like you to smash the like button, share with your friends and families, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. Smash the notification bell so that when I post a new video, you will be the first to receive it. Now, I would like to ask you a question. What are those habits that you know in your life that is currently making you broke? Let's talk about it. Drop me a comment below and I would love to interact with you. Until I speak to you again, I would like you to take advantage of my free course, The Power of Financial Education. It's a free audio course that I did that enlightens you on the power of financial education. If you are interested in it, I'll put the links below in the description box. Go ahead and subscribe to that particular free course and listen to it, because it will go a long way to change your financial orientation. Until I speak to you again, keep cracking the money code. God bless you.